if you build tariffs just to make a tariff wall against China, that's a stupid strategy, because then the Chinese companies will start to build up production facilities in Europe. The same applies. The same took place 30 years ago in the US, when the US don't wanted to have exports from Japan cars to the US. So the Japanese companies like Toyota went to the US, and today Toyota in the US is the second largest car company. So it's stupid to do it. We see China with a new record in new car sales last year. 25 million cars are sold last year. And we see, if we look at 2030 or something like that, we see that the US and Europe are together have the same size in the automotive market as. So China is the heart of the automotive industry in the future. And what we see is that we have key technologies which are developed and which are very interesting and which have its home in China. That is the battery, lithium-ion battery, because she is the major part, the major component to go into electric vehicles. So, and the heart of that battery, the big companies like CATL, like Farasis, like Gotion, like EV are located in China. So we are dependent a little bit on China if we want to have the technology, but also the cells for this iron batteries, which are very important for the industry. The second thing is, if you look in automatic driving and in a smart cockpit, now we think on companies like Xiaomi or Huawei or others, which give the customers a new feeling how to be in a car. It's not just driving the car, it's having entertainment and all this thing. And that has its home also in China. And young Chinese companies like NIO or Xiaopeng are doing that very well. So we see the third part is the automotive driving. China is far away from the other countries in automotive driving. You have got Beidou, which is doing with roboto taxis together with its Apollo affiliate. On the other hand, you have Rewrite. They also do that experiment, and also that do that offering that robo car transportation for customers, and also AutoX. So we see a lot of innovations which help the automotive industry to go with more innovations in the future. And the German car industry is a strong car industry which has strong roots in the past. And if we can combine both, then we got a package with the best package in the world. So we see that Mercedes, we see that BMW, we see that VW Group are working strong together. Also the suppliers like, for example, Conti, or like, for example, ZF, which are very close to China car industry, to China and to Chinese car makers. So I think it's a win-win position if we both go into cooperation and work together within the automotive industry. When I look back 10 or 15 years, then the Chinese car industry was a very weak industry. They had lousy cars, low quality, no innovations. If I look today in the Chinese car industry and also in the Chinese software industry, then I see that they are full of innovations which help to improve the products step by step. Huawei is very important in that process. Xiaomi is very important in that process. Xiaomi and Huawei stepped in the automotive business because they say what the customer wants to have is a digital ecosystem. NIO is doing something like that also. So if you are in a digital world which brings the customer a lot of advantages, the car is one part of that world. So why don't we go into that future? See, Apple tried it for 20 years. Apple failed. So I think it's a big chance for the Chinese company to build that new world in which auto and the car is a very important issue. However, to combine it in a world in which technology and advancements and research bring the future in the products. It's a little bit like what they do and what they do, a little bit like Elon Musk and Tesla. Tesla revolutionized the automotive industry because he came with fairly new approaches. What we see with Huawei, with NIO, but also with Xiaomi and others, is Chinese company could do the same. See, Apple had with his former CEO person, which was very strong, doing research development, wanted new products and all these things. What we see on the Chinese side is that the Chinese companies are very interesting to do more innovations. And what we also see is that the country by itself had the possibility to go faster in that direction. For example, in Germany, we have a strong data protection laws. If you have very strong data protection laws, sometimes you limit research, you limit software developments, you limit what you can do. For example, the internet technologies. If we look at Robocar, at Baidu, they combine that. They combine, see, artificial intelligence is the big buzzword what we have at the moment in the industry. Everybody goes in AI and artificial intelligence. If you want to do that, you need data. Without data, you are lost because the robots and the software must learn like children learn if they go to school and get its studies. We see Xiaomi, Huawei, they have the competence for clouds, for moving data in the internet, to analyze data, to bring it in new products, and the possibility you have in China. For example, also with your robocars. We don't have robocars in Europe. You have robocars from Beijing, Daxing airport into the city, which is really great. And this robocars and the software in that cars, they learn and learn and learn. And the same applies to the semiconductor, like, for example, Horizon Robotics and others who do that. So China seems to be to us a world in which departments and companies work closer together. If you look at Apple, it was a single company. They want to do it by everything by itself, and possibly that was a failure. See, the government is always a risk in systems like Germany because the next election could be election, something will change like in the US. However, I'm pretty sure that the people will understand what's going on. That is the wrong approach. And in our government, especially the Greens, are not big friends of China. They fear a little bit China. However, other parts of the government are very open. As far as I know, our chancellor will be in China next again in April, just before the Beijing Auto Show. That is an important sign also for the car industry. So, see, Germany is in Europe, and Europe is very difficult, especially the European Union, the EU, because on the one hand, you have countries like France, they like protectionism. And if you do protectionism, it's not working together. You are separated and you will lose. So the French government is having strong initiatives to go to the EU to force that investigation on this unfair competition, which is due in China to its car makers, which is, in my point of view, not the truth. So that's a little bit a political system which we have, and differences in political systems which we should overcome time by time. I think we are in a world in which we should be open, which should be open also to new technologies, and we should not fear things which are not existent. I think what we see at the moment is that we have some discussions, and I fear that the tariff discussions could be detrimental. But I hope that Germany will help to throw away that discussions in Europe, because see, if we go to tariffs against Chinese car companies, then we are pretty sure that the Chinese government will also answer with some tariffs, a retaliation, and that would hurt Porsche extremely, because Porsche is not producing cars in China. It would also hurt Mercedes, it would hurt BMW, it would hurt the suppliers in Germany, because they bring its high-end production cars, which they do in Germany with exports to China. And the second thing is, if you build tariffs just to make a tariff wall against China, that's a stupid strategy, because then the Chinese companies will start to build up production facilities in Europe. The same applies. The same took place 30 years ago in the US, when the US don't wanted to have exports from Japan cars to the US. So the Japanese companies like Toyota went to the US, and today Toyota in the US is the second largest car company. So it's stupid to do it. So I'm pretty sure that our government and our car industry will fight that we don't have tariffs in the future between China and Germany in the car business, because that is really detrimental. I'm pretty sure that the cooperation will be stronger and stronger and stronger, because now we are in a world in which China delivers innovations, which is very important for the product. And on the other hand, we have the German car industry, which know a lot of mechanics of car, a lot of road holding about cars. So I think they will continue to combine these two. We'll see a best example is VW. VW has its second largest development center in Hanoi. The same applies to BMW. The second largest development center is in China. So it comes together also in the academic part, also in the research part with the engineers, come closer and closer together, and then we can do it. VW is very strongly dependent on China, also Porsche, also BMW, and they realized that, and they tried to increase its cooperation. Therefore, it's important to make an open discussion with the public, to discuss with the people what's going on and what's helpful, and that will help to convince them. And if they are convinced, then the politicals have to do what they want to do, what the people want to say to do.